So think about it. You're going out for a walk on a long sidewalk, okay? Or a hike. Eventually, you're going to get tired. Well, walking endurance is how far you can go. And it turns out that people who took urolithin A, now remember, all of these people were kind of couch potatoes, sedentary. They did not exercise a lot. Guess what? Urolithin A takers, their walking endurance improved by 60 meters. Now you might say, what does that mean? I can't picture 60 meters. Well, imagine a 20-story building, 20 stories high, tipped on its side, and walking the length of that building. That's how much more endurance the people with urolithin A supplement actually had. And that makes total sense. If you take urolithin A, it helps to clear out all the old junky batteries so that new batteries can be put into the body. Guess what? You're going to have fresh batteries, more energy. Now in the study, the researchers also measured something called VO2 max. I know it sounds complicated, but let me explain. VO2 max is basically the maximum oxygen intake that your body can muster, and that's basically how efficiently your body uses oxygen, right? You need to have energy, that's through your mitochondria, your batteries. Then you need to have oxygen to power things up. And guess what? People who took urolithin A supplement, which clears away all the junk and leaves room for new mitochondria, their oxygen efficiency, their VO2 max, rose by 7% as well. When they looked at mitochondrial health, how healthy were the mitochondria, urolithin A takers actually had a 22% increase in the health of their mitochondria. Makes sense, right? Out with the old, in with the new, 22% healthier. And then the researchers measured something called acylcarnitine. Now, acylcarnitine is a marker of how the body burns fat for energy. And guess what? The acylcarnitine levels dropped by 14%. So urolithin A takers had more efficient ways of using their fat. They didn't actually need to burn fat pedal to the metal. They could actually take it easy and still have efficient fat metabolism. And that's because they had better mitochondrial function. And then finally, the researchers looked at a blood marker called C-reactive protein, CRP. You might have heard about CRP. It's something that your functional doctor should be measuring. It reflects how much inflammation is in your body. Guess what? Their CRP levels dropped by 16%. That means that urolithin A is also anti-inflammatory as well. That's really interesting, right? Well, the reason I'm telling you this is because I was skeptical about urolithin A supplements and mitochondria for a long time. But I'm a scientist, and a good scientist always starts with having an open mind. So you might be skeptical about something, but let's look at the data. And I just showed you the data. Urolithin A actually improves human parameters that you can measure that reflect better mitochondria and less inflammation. Now, without a supplement, I told you your body already makes urolithin A. Where does it make it? Well, it turns out urolithin A is made in your gut. And how does your gut make it? It makes it from foods that contain natural bioactives called ellagitannins and ellagic acid. Ellagic acid, or ellagitannins, these are the starting blocks to make urolithin A naturally in your gut. So what are the foods that contain ellagic acid and ellagitannins? Pomegranate, walnuts, berries, raspberries, strawberries, blackberries. You eat those foods, pomegranates, walnuts, strawberries, blackberries, raspberries. You are feeding your body with the substrate, the starter material for your gut bacteria to make urolithin A. And when you eat them, guess what? Your gut microbiome goes to work, transforms the ellagitannins and ellagic acid into urolithin A. That gets into the bloodstream, circulates throughout the body, and guess what? You wind up actually having more fresh mitochondria, more energy in your body. That is a good thing. What's interesting is that not everyone does this urolithin metabolism the same way. Some people's microbiomes are better at doing this than others, but everybody benefits from eating those foods like pomegranates and berries and walnuts. And you should eat those foods anyway because they deliver other polyphenols and dietary fiber and anti-inflammatory substances that activate your health defenses and lower inflammation. Urolithin A is really important for energy, and if you get it from pomegranate, you can add some pomegranate to your yogurt, for example, or crush up some walnuts and sprinkle them onto your salad. It's a great way to get the foods that give the starter material for urolithin A. One of the things I love to do is just have a bowl of berries for breakfast. I have a cup of coffee, maybe a cup of tea, depending on my mood, but I often go for coffee. Sometimes I'll just fix myself a bowl of berries, and that's pretty much it. If I can get some yogurt, I'll do that as well. But berries, you can also toss them in a smoothie if you want. Now, next, I'm going to tell you how to improve your muscles directly. And the reason you need to know about this is because after the age of 30, most people start losing muscle mass, between 3 to 8% of their muscle mass with every decade. That means by the time you're 50, you've probably lost about 20% of your overall muscle mass compared to when you were in your 20s and 30s. And by the time you're in your 60s and 70s, you're losing so much muscle mass that you're going to be weaker. You don't want that. You want to actually have muscle mass and maintain your strength. Loss of muscle is loss of strength. Loss of strength means imbalance. And one of the big problems for people as they get older is that they're unstable and they fall. Once you fall, you can break your hip and then you lose your independence. So you want good muscle strength. Really, really important. But there's some good news. It turns out that omega-3 fatty acids, which you can take as a supplement or get from seafood, can help build your muscles and maintain your muscles. Omega-3s, these are the healthy fats you find in oily fish, salmon, mackerel, sardines, but you can also find them in all kinds of seafood, including squid, shrimp, lobster, crab, and clams. And if you're a vegetarian or a vegan, you can also get omega-3s from plant-based foods like flaxseed, chia seeds, walnuts, and soybeans. In that case, you are getting the precursor to omega-3s called ALA, and your body will start to create its own omega-3s from that. We know omega-3s are good for heart health. We know they're good for brain health. Now research shows that they're good for muscle health as well. I want to tell you about the research from scientists at Taipei Medical University in Taiwan. They analyzed all the data from 12 high-quality randomized clinical trials looking at omega-3s. In total, across these 12 trials, more than 2,000 adults aged 60 and older were studied. The researchers asked, among people who were eating omega-3s, also known as PUFAs, polyunsaturated fatty acids, was there any connection between the amount of PUFAs or omega-3s they were eating and muscle mass and muscle strength? Here's what they found. The people who consumed the most omega-3s had a 2% increase in their muscle mass, a 4% increase in their hand grip strength, which is a reflection of your overall muscles, and a 5 to 6% better performance in the chair rise test. What's a chair rise test? Well, if you're sitting in a chair and someone says, "Get up," what would you have to do? You would push the chair back, raise yourself up, and stand up straight. That actually takes muscle strength. Now, you might be saying at this point, 1 to 2% muscle mass improvement, 2 to 4% improvement in hand grip strength, 5 to 6% better performance in the chair rise test? That doesn't sound very significant, Dr. Lee. Well, it's true those percentages are small, but think about it. Hand grip strength isn't just about opening a jar of pickles. Hand grip strength predicts your ability to walk smoothly and not fall, to climb up a set of stairs without losing your balance and tumbling down, and even to be able to live independently. So every bit of mobility, every bit of strength makes you able to be more independent, to walk unaided without a cane. And guess what? These researchers found that omega-3s help maintain muscle mass and power. Now, how do omega-3s work? Well, they work in a couple of different ways. One of the most important is that omega-3 fatty acids lower whole body inflammation. When you're inflamed throughout your whole body, guess what? It makes you feel weak. So omega-3s reduce the inflammation, which actually helps you come out of your inflammation shell and be a little bit stronger. Omega-3s also improve neuromuscular function. Now, your muscles are powered by nerves. Nerves are like the wiring in your wall that activates a machine, the machine being the muscle. Neuromuscular function is the connection between the nerves and the muscle. Omega-3s make that nerve conduction to the muscle work better, helping it contract more effectively. And omega-3s also turn on more protein synthesis in the muscle itself, so the muscle can grow. Muscles are made of protein, so to grow your muscle, you need the muscle to make more protein, and omega-3s can actually do that. And by the way, when you do resistance training, take a protein supplement, and then add omega-3s, it actually powers things up even further. Taking omega-3s will make resistance training or protein supplements work even better to maintain muscle mass. So what are my pro tips for you? Eat more omega-3 rich foods: salmon, mackerel, sardines. If you want the plant-based version, flax seeds sprinkled onto your yogurt or salad, walnuts for snacking. Those are plant sources of the precursors for omega-3s that your body will convert to ALA. You could also take a high-quality omega-3 supplement. You want to get a formula that's rich in EPA and DHA, and combine that with exercise. Remember, omega-3s with exercise help build muscle even better. So do some strength training, use a resistance band, or lift weights. Make sure someone shows you how to do it properly so you don't hurt yourself. But that, along with omega-3s, will help you maintain muscle mass. A lot of people are really focused on protein these days, and that's fine. But exercise and omega-3s are also a critical and very science-based approach. When it comes to muscle mass, you want to be proactive and not reactive. You don't want to wait until you've lost muscle before you try to build it back. You want to keep it. Muscle health is the key to longevity and a good quality of life. Anybody who tells you that getting old means you're going to get frail? Not necessarily. You can keep your muscle mass and actually keep your muscles in a more youthful shape so you can be strong and active into your 70s and 80s and even beyond with omega-3s. Finally, I want to share some research that revealed something I thought was unexpected. A discovery I want to tell you about involving melons. Cantaloupe, honeydew, even watermelon. It turns out melons can help your body fight fatigue and stress, specifically oxidative stress. This research comes from scientists at the University of Montpellier in France. The French are very interested in their melons. They have some amazingly sweet melons grown in their fields. What these researchers did is they conducted a double-blind, placebo-controlled trial where they tested melon extract. They grew their beautiful melons and extracted what was inside. What they found is that melon extract was rich in superoxide dismutase, or SOD. Now you might say, what is SOD? Well, SOD is like a fire extinguisher that, when you have it in your body from eating melons, actually puts out the fire from oxidative stress that can damage cells. Think about chemical exposures, ultra-processed foods, environmental exposures that cause a lot of extra oxidative stress. It's like sparklers going off in your body, damaging cells. Well, SOD is like the fire extinguisher that puts that out. What you want to do is neutralize the oxidative stress that can cause fatigue and cellular aging, and you want to neutralize it with SOD. So in this clinical trial, the researchers gave participants melon extract every day for 4 weeks, or they gave them a placebo. Here's what they found. The antioxidant defenses in the body, the SOD activity, increased by 18% in just 4 weeks. They got a lot more neutralization of cellular stress. And in fact, having the melon extract made the oxidative stress go down, which is just what you would expect. The damage to proteins in the body also went down by 10%. This is an extract from melons like cantaloupe. So why does this matter? Well, first of all, if you like cantaloupe or other types of melons like honeydew, like me, then you're in luck, because this is actually good for you. But the other reason is that our bodies are constantly put under stress. Aging causes stress. Pollution causes stress. Poor sleep causes oxidative stress. Microplastics that you're eating and drinking from packaged food cause cellular stress. Ultra-processed foods with all those additives cause cellular stress. Everyday wear and tear causes oxidative stress over time that degrades your body and chips away at your energy. So if you want to recover and protect yourself against that, the good news is that eating melon can help boost your SOD defenses to neutralize all those stressful harms without needing to go to an extreme. What are some of my pro tips from this research? Well, the next time you go to the grocery store or the farmer's market and you see melons, especially seasonal melons, go ahead and buy one. Cantaloupe, honeydew. When you're choosing a ripe one, press the ends a little bit and see if it's slightly soft. Ripe ones will have a little give. Then smell it. It should smell really good, like a melon. What I love about melons is that they're not particularly sweet, so you're not getting a huge sugar load, and you're getting hydration. Getting hydration is critical to preventing fatigue. When you are dehydrated, you're going to be tired. Melons are more than 90% water, packed with vitamin C, anti-inflammatory, and full of these SOD activators. They're going to give you more energy. I could eat a melon for breakfast, and sometimes I do. Just cut them up and throw them into yogurt if you like, or eat them plain. Melon is also a great choice for dessert. You don't need to have cake or pie. This is actually what they do in Asia at the end of a fancy banquet or dinner, bringing out fresh fruit. Melons are a wonderful choice. And by the way, that SOD, that neutralizer of cellular stress, is also found in other foods besides melon. Want to know which ones? Spinach, broccoli, and green tea also have SOD activity for your body. Staying strong as you age isn't just about lifting weights. It's about what's happening inside your body, from your mitochondria, where you want the old ones out and new ones in to give you cellular energy, to lowering inflammation because inflammation makes you tired, to neutralizing cellular stress and activating your health recovery systems so that you can be energetic as you age. Now, if you found this video helpful, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and forward this to somebody you feel would find it super useful. Maybe you can help them with their own health. I will see you in the next video.